Again, we'd like to welcome residents that have joined us here on the webinar. We're going to be getting started with the program in just a couple of minutes here.
Hi, Emily.
Hi there. How are you?
Doing good.
That should be it on all of our translators, right?
We are good.
Yes.
Excellent. So, like I said, a couple of minutes, we'll get started. And I actually see some folks that are already putting in some questions. We appreciate that. But I would like to ask those that are participating, if you could just please hold off on your questions initially, because I am going to be doing a short presentation. And that presentation may answer some of the questions that you have. And then what we'll do is go into our remaining questions that you might have. So I'll flash up our agenda really quick. So as you can see there, we're going to start at 6, which is in just a couple of minutes, and then introduce the program via a short presentation here at roughly 6:10 to 6:30, and then after that we'll start taking questions. I have a feeling that many of your questions will probably be answered within the presentation. And I'm actually waiting for one more of my panelists too. 2 more of my panelists, waiting for Mayor Christensen to jump back with oh no, Mayor Christensen is here, waiting for our DPW Director, Bobby Knox, which let's see if he's out there. In attendee land. There he is.
And obviously, we started that never. I was fine with the recycling thing and trash. I couldn't believe it.
So, Bobby, we'll wait for you to get settled there, and we'll get started. It's 6 o'clock now, so so why don't we do this? It's 6 p.m.
You're waiting for you.
It's 6 p.m. and we're just going to get our bearings here. We're just going to go for the agenda. So today's agenda, like I said, we're going to do intros and overview, and then go over the program, and then get right into our questions. I'd first like to just have an official welcome. My name is Ron Cochran. I'm the Communications Director in the City of Malden, in Mayor Christensen's office, and I'd like to welcome you all to this webinar. Thanks for taking the time to join us. This is an important and exciting new program, and we do want to make sure that everyone has a full understanding of how that program will work. So we're going to have a very thorough presentation. But before we get started, I'd like to kick it over to Danielle, who is going to address in native languages how people can participate in their native language this evening. So go ahead, Danielle, take it away.
Thank you, Ron. This is Danielle with the Rosetta Languages interpreter team. We're going to go ahead and explain how to use the language channels in each of the 7 languages. I will start with Arabic. السلام عليكم، مساء الخير. عندنا ترجمة باللغة العربية. بعد أن ننتهي من هذه المقدمة سيظهر على الشاشة رمز الكرة الأرضية. اضغط على هذا الرمز واختار اللغة العربية. إذا كنت على هاتف محمول عليك الضغط على 3 نقط، ثم اختيار ترجمة اللغات، ثم اختيار اللغة العربية، ثم تم. شكرا جزيلا. I will pass it to Spanish.
Buenas noches a todo el mundo. Estamos aquí de parte de Rosetta Languages y le ofrecemos interpretación en español esta noche. Si usted desea conectar para escuchar la presentación en español, por favor, ve al fondo de su pantalla. Cuando se enciende la función de interpretación, verá un globito y ahí puede presionar el globito y escoger Spanish. Si se está conectando tras su teléfono, simplemente escoge los tres punticos, de allá escoge Interpretation y de ahí Spanish y de ahí Done, que significa que usted ya está listo. Now I pass it over to Portuguese.
Oi, boa tarde, gente. Meu nome é Raíssa, eu sou intérprete de português. Depois que ativamos a função de interpretação, você vai ver um globo na parte de baixo da sua tela. Por favor, escolha português. Se você estiver participando de um celular, você vai ver 3 bolinhas com a palavra mais ou more na parte de baixo da sua tela e, por favor, escolha português. Now I will pass it to Haitian Creole.
Nikita, I don't hear you.
You're muted, Nikita.
I'm gonna take it away. This is Vietnamese interpreter. Tôi tên là Linh, tôi là người thông dịch tiếng Việt cho quý vị hôm nay. Rất là vui được phục vụ quý vị hôm nay. Hôm nay chúng tôi có cái chương trình và chúng tôi sẽ có dịch vụ tiếng Việt. Khi mà bắt đầu chương trình thì sẽ có một cái quả địa cầu, trong đó nó gọi là cái globe. Thì lúc đó khi mà quý vị bấm vào đó thì sẽ có cái option, tức là chọn tiếng Việt, Vietnamese. Khi mà quý vị bấm vào Vietnamese thì quý vị sẽ chọn và sau đó thì quý vị sẽ là done là xong và quý vị sẽ được nghe phiên dịch trực tiếp bằng tiếng Việt. Xin cảm ơn quý vị. I'm passing it to Mandarin.
Thank you. This is Terry Ying. I will be your Mandarin interpreter. 大家晚上好，我的名字叫 Terry， 我是你们的国语翻译。待会呢，你们就可以在这个屏幕的下方看到一个地球的按钮，然后你们点这个地球的按钮，选择 Mandarin， 你就可以听到国语的翻译了。如果你是用手机或者是用 iPad 上来的话呢，那你就点这3个点，然后选择更多，然后你再选择语言的选项 Mandarin， 你就可以听到这个国语的翻译了。谢謝。I'll pass it on to Anna, please.
Thank you, Terry. Good evening, everyone. I'll be your Cantonese interpreter for the meeting tonight. 大家好，我係你今晚嘅廣東話語言翻譯。我哋係嚟自 Rosetta Languages 嘅團隊，好高興為大家提供唔同嘅語言翻譯。如果你想聽到廣東話翻譯嘅時候咧，咁你到地球儀後面有個地球儀，咁你撳裏嘅地球儀揀 Cantonese， 咁你聽到廣東話同步翻譯嘅啦。如果你用手機嘅話咧，咁你就揀3個點點點，咁你撳落個點度，咁就揀 Cantonese 廣東話同步翻譯。多謝大家，陣間傾，拜拜。All set. Thank you, Danielle.
Let's get back to Nikita because you are on mute. Nikita, can you unmute yourself? Nikita, it looks like you're still on mute. I cannot hear you.
Danielle, I'll take your advice on how, do you think we should proceed into the language channels and hopefully...
I wonder, sometimes I know when I'm the host, I can do like invite a person to unmute. Are you able to do that on Nikita's screen or not?
I just went ahead and did that.
Okay. Nikita, you're on mute. We cannot hear you. Let me try to troubleshoot this, and thank you for your patience.
Yeah, sure. While we're trying to troubleshoot that, just again to orient, so a few folks that have joined us, within the past couple of minutes, you haven't missed anything yet. We're just doing our introductions for our foreign language channels, and we're just troubleshooting a technical difficulty there.
Okay, it looks like it's connecting. Oops, it's on mute again.
So I'm going to make a suggestion, Danielle,
Sure.
and that is, I think we should move forward, and hopefully, Nikita, you can fix the issue. But what I would say, Nikita, is if you could just record yourself as we go, and then the folks would not have the benefit of the live translation, but rather when we issue the recording after the fact.
Thank you, Ron. So I'll just remind all the interpreters to start your recording now and activate your microphones as well. And Ron, you can go ahead and activate the language channels.
All right, just one moment for that. Almost there. Okay, I think we're good to start the language interpretation channels. Okay, sounds good. And you guys can hear us over
muito
here.
bom.
Raisa, we still have you in our channel, so hang on one second. Oh, okay, I think we're good now. Okay, once again, we'd like to welcome everybody that's joined us. We're just running a couple of minutes behind schedule, but that's okay. As you can see on our agenda this evening, we're going to cover intros and an overview. We've already kind of done that with our language interpreters. And then we're going to talk about the new program and then get right into all of your questions. I'd first like to introduce the panel this evening. So tonight, along with our translators, we're joined by Mayor Gary Christensen, who will be moderating. We're also joined by Ron Hogan, who is our parking director, who's been instrumental in this project from the get-go in terms of organizing it and putting it together, which has been quite a long time now, multiple years. And we thank him for joining us this evening. We also have our Public Works Director, Bobby Knox, with us in case there's any questions that come up that are on his end. So that is our introductions. And then I'm going to go ahead and start a presentation here to go over the program. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is if you have not done so already, we think it's incredibly beneficial for all of our residents to sign up for what we call the Trash app. So there's a service called Recollect, which is our weekly reminders for trash and recycling, for special collections, for things like service interruptions. And for those that have taken advantage of that, we thank you for participating. But going forward with these changes, I think it's going to be critical for us to be able to communicate with our residents, on a regular basis about these new program changes. And probably the most effective way to do that would be to have you join our Trash app. It's real simple. If you visit cityofmalden.org/trash, you enter in your home address, and then you choose to get reminders. You can get a printed calendar, which is great, but you can also get automated reminders sent to email, phone, or text. So we do ask that if you do that, take some time and go ahead and join up on the Trash app. Next, we're going to do a quick look at the program. So we know that folks have other things to do. So I'd like to give you the abridged version, or as I say here, the Cliff Notes, the Spark Notes, or the TLDR, right? The too long didn't read view of this program. And then after we do that, we'll go into greater detail on the specific parts of the program. Okay, let's take a quick look here. So in the month of April, our residents will be delivered one black trash cart and one blue recycling cart to the curb. And these are for what we're calling qualifying residents. And what that means is those who participate in the Pay As You Throw program, who in our records, we list your home as being a 6-family home or fewer. So that's 6 units or fewer. And we have our assessing records that tell us what those houses are. And we'll talk a little bit later about whether or not we have all the homes that we think we have, or if there's any issues, we'll talk about how we can work that out. But for the most part, we're pretty confident we know where to bring this new set of blue and black carts. So on the top track, you'll see that as of April, when the carts are delivered, you're going to put the blue bag inside of the black cart. Real simple. Then if you have any additional blue bags, meaning that you are throwing away greater than the equivalent of one blue bag, because that's what fits in your new black trash cart, you're going to keep using your additional overflow carts that many residents have already purchased. And what we're trying to do is get everybody out of the habit of leaving what I would call the naked bags on the curb, meaning not properly contained inside of a container. So we're providing you the first one, and we're encouraging you to continue to use the secondary ones. We'll talk further about additional carts, but that's later on in the presentation. So this quick overview is for what's going to happen in April. And then the bottom track, you can see that we'll also deliver this one blue recycling cart. And that one blue recycling cart is now mixed recycling. So no more separating your recycling. Some might know it as single stream. So your 2 18-gallon bins, commingled bottles and cans and jars and jugs and tubs and your papers can all go into one recycling bin. Along with that, we want you, just like the trash, for those that have been really good recyclers and have purchased additional covered, whether it be toters, covered barrels, other things that you've converted into a bin. We want you to continue to use those, providing again that they are covered and not, we've seen really a hodgepodge of a lot of different things, because when we had open top containers, kind of everything qualified, right? So, everything from, I've seen the funniest would be a laundry basket all the way to, a big industrial strength barrel. But we're moving away from that, and we're going to our covered carts and bins for overflow. And as you can see, we still want to encourage you to recycle your boxes in the way of box bundles, which has worked out really well, and JRM has given us that feedback. Then when you've received your new blue recycling cart, you then simply put out your old 18-gallon open-topped bin, and JRM will haul it off. Or you can certainly keep it. Some folks have used it for storage containers or planters or whatever. The key is recycle or reuse. So that is what I call the TLDR, or the elevator pitch of this program. So if you need to sign out, and that's great, but we'll continue on with a greater level of detail about this project. So next, we want to just talk about how we got here. So the history. So the original proposal goes back quite a ways. It's over a year. I think probably closer to 2 years when we first started talking about this. We had some significant challenges in that we're in a long-term contract with our hauler, JRM, and there were only certain things that they were willing to accept and that we could do to change the program without drastically changing things and instituting a brand new contract and lengthening what is already a pretty long contract. So our original proposal was to provide a 64-gallon barrel for trash and a 32-gallon single stream recycling barrel, and then replace the blue bags with a $120 per year fee that would be billed directly to your water bill, and then overflow stickers for additional trash. So that was the original proposal. We put that out there. Our city councilors went to their constituents and asked questions about how they felt about it. We put it out onto our social media channels. We received an overwhelming response on feedback. And then what we realized was that that original plan wasn't going to fit with what what we proposed. So we had to make some changes, and credit to Ron Hogan. He kind of went through this process painstakingly and went out and made the necessary changes. And so what did that amount to? Well, it amounts to what I just described to you as this current new program. So lidded carts rather than a barrel, one size did not fit all. So one of the big comments that we received was that, you know, simply putting a larger trash that was billed at $120 per year didn't leave an option for many residents out there that are small trash producers, you know, the folks that are only using maybe one 15-gallon bag per week, and some of those really fastidious recyclers out there that are doing what we ask. Being billed $120 per year didn't make sense because it didn't allow them to control the flow of trash as they were good at. And then lastly, having to avoid still being able to avoid buying blue bags. So that was something of a piece of feedback that we received early on. There were some folks that were just tired of having to go to the store over and over again to purchase blue bags. And so when you look at that, you know, you look at those types of folks, when we kind of categorize them, we really were able to cover all of those things into this one new program. And that's why I feel really excited about offering this program to the residents. All of us here, you know, in City Hall, we know that this has been an important topic for our residents for many years now. And we knew we had to get it right. And we feel confident that this is a great solution. So as you can see here, you know, if pay-as-you-throw works fine for you, that's great. You can keep using the blue bags. No need to change. We just give you a secure place to put those bags. If you're one of those folks that didn't like the blue bags, that's another check mark. Blue bags can go away. So you just have to use a trash tag, which we'll talk about further on down tonight's program. Next would be, you know, like we talked about, I don't produce much trash, so why should I be billed something on my water bill? And then if you can actually extend that even further and say that some folks that are owners of multi-family homes did not want, they may have had an arrangement with their tenants where they weren't covering the trash and the rent. And a lot of our homeowners told us, you know, that was not a great program fit for them as well. So again, that can be solved. You can have one unit that has a trash tag, and then you have one unit that has still continues to use blue bags. And then lastly, too much litter and critters, right? So we see a lot of trash and recycling that blows around because we're not able to properly contain it in our current system. And the trash that is, like I said, the naked bags on the street tend to be, especially in the summertime, they can be ripped open by raccoons, by various critters out there. And so this solves that as well. So where are we right now? Well, we're in the month of March. It's March 18th. You are going to be receiving a postcard first week of April that says carts are coming. You folks here, you're paid attention, and you're going to know far more than the average resident. But for those that really haven't been paying attention, that's okay too. We're going to send a postcard to all of those qualifying homes, and it's a simple postcard. And as you note here, there is a phone number there, and this phone number is going to be what we will have as our pay-as-you-throw hotline. So this is a brand new phone number that I'm hoping that you don't call it quite yet, because if you have questions, we know they're going to probably get answered tonight, but we knew that it was critical for a large program like this to make sure that all our residents' concerns were answered immediately, and they knew the right where to go to ask those questions. And that's going to be our pay-as-you-throw hotline. That'll be staffed during normal City Hall business hours, and then we'll monitor the voicemails and respond to those. So look out for those postcards coming soon. So you get your postcard. It's roughly the first week of April. And then on April 12th, the delivery process begins. And this is about a 4-week delivery process. We're working with our vendor, Rarig, which is the vendor that we chose to produce these carts for us. And beginning on April 12th, they will start to drop these sets of carts around to all these qualifying homes, and you will see those, and it'll be a little weird at times because you'll have some streets that have complete carts and others that won't get carts for another 2.5-3 weeks. It's just something logistically that had to be done. There's only so many carts that you can pass out. It's quite a big operation, as you can imagine. In total, it's roughly about 32,000 carts that are being dropped throughout our city. So as you can imagine, it's quite a big operation. When these carts land at your property, they're going to be equipped with a set of instructions or an info card, however you want to word it. And those instructions will be different for each of the card. There'll be ones for recycling and ones for trash. And as you can see, we've captured our most commonly used languages and those languages actually that are represented this evening will be there. And you can look at it much like, you know, a manual that you'd have on a calculator or something, where it's the same bit of instructions just repeated 6 times over for the different languages that are there with a cover sheet. So those will be attached to the card, and they will give you instructions on how to use them. So let's just dig in and talk about that. So these instructions that are here, so you're going to see the most commonly asked questions that we think are useful right at the outset. So here it is for recycling, blue for recycling, black for trash. So this would be the front page of the recycling card. And then the back page of the recycling card. Some of you may actually be familiar with this graphic. It's the graphic that we use for our Recycle IQ program. It's what Mass DEP uses to reflect their what's acceptable materials for most of the cities and towns around the state of Massachusetts. And it's a pretty quick guide for you to know what to throw in this bin. And what I want to emphasize, and we'll talk about it later, is nothing has changed about the materials themselves. It's just now one bin instead of 2. And then inside of the packet that has recycling, you're going to get a free mixed recycling sticker that you can put on one of your additional recycling carts. And again, we'll talk more about that later. So that's in one packet. And then in the trash packet, of course, you have your commonly asked questions for trash and then some instructions on the back. Now you'll notice here that, you know, in our opening slide, I didn't talk about this trash tag. I've only kind of touched on it, but of course this trash card, this instruction card is meant to be torn out. There'll be perforated edges and you put it on your refrigerator and it's for reference. And as you can see, it references the both uses of your new black trash card. Pay-as-you-throw blue bags and trash tag. So you put those up on your refrigerator as of April 12th or whenever you receive your carts. And then let's talk about recycling. So like I said, same materials, just one cart. If you have any questions about what are valid materials to put into the single stream recycling, you can always visit our Waste Wizard database, which is cityofmalden.org/waste. And then, as you can see, we talked about this. We still want you to do your cardboard bundles, which is great. Again, continue that. Make sure they're stowed properly and won't be blowing around. JRM, again, has been good about picking those up. And then, as we've been talking about the whole time, the new card is mixed recycling, but so the equivalent of essentially 2 of your open-topped bins. So that's how much recycling is there. But we also understand that you know, the bins, it's a little bit different in the shape. So it can be challenging maybe to get exactly the same amount of recycling, which again is why we're encouraging folks about these additional bins and then also taking advantage of the way these cardboard bundles are. So we feel pretty strongly that if you are putting out 2 bins, like is what the program is currently running on, you're going to be able to be just fine with the one blue recycling card. But for those who, again, are pretty fastidious and want to keep on a strong recycling, please continue to use those extra carts that you've purchased at a big box store, but now they're single stream. So the same carts, same stream, same material, just single stream now. And again, we've incorporated this mixed recycling sticker, but then we're also going to print some additional stickers and make those available at the DPW. Now, if your existing carts have the old stickers, the deprecated stickers like the ones that say commingled or mixed cardboard, Those are fine for now. I think JRM will know exactly what they are. They're mixed recycling. There won't be any confusion because it's all going in the same bin. It's all going in the same truck anyway. But we'd like you eventually to ask for some of those new stickers just to make it more clean all around. But again, those will be available at the DPW. So that's the recycling. Over to trash. So we're trying to get this rhyme going, which is when you think about your black trash cart, always think blue bag or trash tag. Blue bag or trash tag. So just easy to think of it that way. But what we realize is that there are, there would be a need for more than just that primary cart. So let's just talk about the different things that are on this slide here. First of all, again, continue to use your carts that you've already purchased. Please label them, if you haven't done so already, as trash, which again, that's a practice that still exists, that has existed in our current program. But just know that if you have additional trash carts, the only way that you can hang eventually a trash tag on them would be if they were the City of Malden issued carts. So if you think about that, we have specific rules about how much can go in a cart. So in order to keep consistent and standard, we would ask that, again, trash tags be hung on only city issued carts, sorry. Couple little side notes here. No change to other collection types. So, yard waste, bulk items, special collections, all those types of things that you're familiar with our trash and recycling program, they stay the same. But then we know that not everyone can get all of their waste out in one blue bag, which is what this trash cart that we'll be giving you has the equivalent of. So in that case, we're going to eventually be allowing folks to purchase additional carts from the city, and those will be available in July. But again, if you've already owned this additional cart, please continue to do that. And the idea, again, is to get those naked bags off of the street. So let's talk about that trash tag. So the trash tag will be available in July. It's going to be $75 per calendar year, and it'll be prorated depending on when you purchase it. So what this means is for those, we would hope that many residents take advantage of a trash tag when it's presented in July. And at that point, we're already 7 months into the year, so you're only paying for the remaining months. So it's roughly about $38 for that first purchase. But then as you come into the month of December, you're going to want to, we'll provide plenty of notification on this. You're going to want to go ahead and get your next year's sticker or trash tag. And it's, consider it much like if you participate in our resident parking program, there's an annual renewal process. So around December, we'll send out all our notifications. But, if you weren't totally sure if trash tag was the right option for you, we encourage you, again, keep using blue bags, putting them in your black carts. And then when you do decide to go the route of a trash tag, no problem. You can visit our treasurer's office or online at cityofmalden.org/trash and purchase those online, and they'll be mailed directly to your house. So again, it can only be hung on a city-issued black trash cart, and it will be directly associated with that specific cart. And to the best of our ability, we're going to make it tamper-proof because we did hear that was a concern that someone would just rip off a tag and put it on their cart. That is not going to be made easy. We'll if that happens to you, we'll have the hotline to address that. And again, what does that mean? Well, if somebody rips it off one place, I guess what they might imagine is that they're trying to put it on their own cart, to illegally use. And if that's discovered, then it's a pretty hefty fine, and it would be pretty easy to see because, again, it will be obvious that the tag has been ripped off. So we hope for the best. We understand that possibly would happen, but I think we have it covered. And then lastly, extra carts. So again, in the month of July, along with trash tags, we are going to additionally make the purchase of extra carts available. Now, I think this is the thing I'm most excited about this program, and that is, I personally purchased a trash toter a number of years ago to keep my stuff properly stowed, and I think at the time I paid upwards of about $90. We are going to take advantage of the bulk purchasing that we can do here in the city, and we're going to offer you these carts for purchase at a significant discount. What we're listing here, these are current prices. I went ahead and looked, roughly between $60 and $70 is what Ace and Home Depot and the big box stores are getting for a 35-gallon wheeled cart like this. We are going to offer it for $40, which is a significant discount. It also comes with a 10-year warranty, which those carts at those box stores, I guarantee you, do not. And then we're going to deliver them right to your door. And we do want to note, though, again, prices can vary year over year because, plastic can increase in price and so on. But we're fairly confident that when July hits, this $40 number will stick. And just again, a reminder that these carts, when you purchase them, they are associated with the address that you're ordering them from. So again, preventing folks from helping themselves to your additional carts. And any additional carts that are purchased, the best way to think of them is they have the same rules as your primary carts. So that is the additional cart purchase. And that is kind of the end of the initial part of the presentation. So let me stop my screen sharing. And at this time, we'll open it up to your questions. So I'd like to pass the meeting over to Mayor Christensen, who's going to moderate the question and answers this evening.
Good evening, Malden. Again, I'm Gary Christensen, Mayor of the City of Malden, and I know my role tonight is to moderate this webinar, but I just want to take a moment and really express my gratitude to the team assembled, which is, again, Ron Cochran, Bob Knox, Chuck Ranigan, who is not here, as well as Maria Luis. And I wanted to save the best for last, which is Ron Hogan. As you heard, he is our parking director. But because of his commitment to Malden, he volunteered, I don't know if he regrets that now, to work on this issue, which we have been dealing with, as was mentioned, for many, many years. And to see what had to be done in order to get us here tonight, I just couldn't thank them more. And I'm actually contemplating writing a book about what I've seen to get us here this evening. I also want to take a moment to thank the City Council who supported this program. I think it was a near unanimous vote. And again, not on an easy issue. There are lots of twists and turns, but they were able to come together to support this initiative. And then finally, I want to take a moment to thank all of you, the community. We know this has been an important issue for you and for us all. And so I want to say thank you for your patience and understanding, although I know I might have to amend that in about a half hour, 45 minutes, but you've been great throughout this and we appreciate your willingness to hang in there with us. So with that being said, let's get to the most important thing this evening, which is the Q&A. So our first question this evening is from Kathy. Will we be able to continue using the blue bags without the barrels? My hill is steep and the barrels will end up at the bottom of the hill. It will also be difficult to get the barrel to the street level from my house.
So it sounds kind of like what she's asking for is whether or not she can, be a resident who does not use them. There is an option for opting out, but we're really trying to dissuade as many folks from doing that as possible. And there's only a very limited amount of circumstances in which you would opt out. One of them is that let's say you're at a condo that looks like a house, but it's a condo and you've opted for private collection. Of course, you're not in our pay as you throw program. And then another one would be if you're in a multifamily unit home that already had an extensive amount of carts and you just simply don't have any room for them. I can understand the challenge that you're talking about, but what this program offers in terms of properly stowing your trash far outweighs the inconvenience that I think ultimately the few folks like, I'm sorry, the name was it Kathy. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be something that we recommend. So those carts will be given to you.
So Kathy, hang in there. Let's give it a try. Next up, let's go to Denise. So if a tag gets stolen, I know it will get reported to the police, but will the tag be replaced for free?
So yeah, what we will do is we have a database that tracks our tags, and those tags have a barcode on them or a unique identifier. And yes, effectively, when the tag is decommissioned, yeah, it will no longer be valid. So we would replace it. We'd have you on record as having the tag, and that we would reissue you a new tag. And we would encourage you to report that by calling the Pay As You Throw hotline.
I bought my tenants the 64-gallon trash barrels last year, which each cost a good amount of money. Can they still use them since it allows them to fit more recyclable items?
So once again, we're not trying to discourage anyone who's been a good recycler from continuing to do so. The key here is we're looking for these to be covered. And it sounds to me like if he's what I'm hearing described, a toter would be a covered cart. So yes, please continue to use those as you have been doing.
How many barrels will be given to multifamily houses?
So each qualifying unit within that home. So if you have a 3-family house, that's 3 units. If we have again, have you on file on our assessor's records as a 3-unit home, 3 sets of carts are going to go to that home. We do have instances where we have, in-law apartments that we may not have known about. We have, in some cases, illegal units that we certainly don't condone, and we would not provide carts for those. In fact, there would be a bigger problem than the trash program. But it would be for all the units that we know about up to 6-family homes.
The 64-gallon trash barrels have shown they don't blow over easily during windy days. Will you provide those size barrels in the future since other towns like Everett use them?
No, pretty confident we're going to stick with this size. Again, it works for what we're able to offer here within this program. Some of the other cities and towns have additional challenges, unintended ones from the bins, such as more contaminants. And, we understand that folks look at some of the neighboring cities and towns and they kind of maybe have an envy of such a larger barrel. But if you're looking at where kind of the DEP, who kind of has their finger on the pulse of where the industry is going, most of the new cities and towns that are coming up are reducing the size of both of their containers. But again, for recycling, if you want to use that 64-gallon, you're continuing to do that, that's fine. And for trash, to contain it, that's fine. It's just we will not put on a trash tag on a non-city issued barrel.
Okay, this might be technical, Mr. Cochran. On my webinar page, there's no globe icon for interpretation.
Yeah, that should be available. We are definitely, I'm sorry, my apologies. I don't know why that is. You might want to look, sometimes if you look at the 3 dots on the bottom of your menu, it says more. It might be buried under that menu.
Okay. Let's see. Thank you to Danielle and our interpreters. How do I get those kind of compliments, Danielle? Let's see. Why do we always, people in Everett never had to pay to have the bigger bins. Malden is awful in making us still use the blue bags and pay the city $75. I have a 2-family house and I have to pay for my tenant or go up in the rent at a time when people have lost their jobs because of COVID. My tenant unfortunately had this happen to him.
I mean, it sounds to me like that person's describing exactly why we have the program the way we have it. For those that have tenant arrangements with trash, whether you have an arrangement or you don't, this program is flexible. It allows you to not. So as I described in the presentation, if I own a 2-family home and I have a family of 5 like I do, I'm getting a trash tag because ultimately I'm going to wind up saving. If you look at the math, I'm going to wind up saving money at the end of the year. But if I have a neighbor upstairs who maybe is, a single person and they only use one smaller bag per week, they're not going to buy a trash tag. And so therefore you would just have to provide them blue bags. So I really think that actually hits the nail on the head. Maybe he just misunderstood what the program was.
Yeah, Marion, I think what we're trying to do is just balance all the different competing interests. I mean, most cities and towns around us are paying twice what we're paying overall to our hauler to service our community. I mean, the other thing we did look at, and again, I think it was mentioned in the presentation that we didn't want to do, which is there's a town north of us that just charges a flat $200. So no matter what you recycle or what you put out for trash, you're paying $200 no matter, again, what you're putting out or how big your house is. So we tried to come up with a system that we thought met as many of the expectations that our residents have on us. And so that's why we chose the system that we did. Will seniors be able to get a discount?
So the discount is essentially already baked into the program. So this is something we heard over and over again. And what we did is we asked about, what was behind that discount, and all what we heard over and over again was, again, reduced use. And so if you look at the way the program's laid out right now, if you bought one $2 blue bag per week times the 52 weeks, you're up at about, you're up at $104 per year. So at $75, you already have that 25% discount built into that. So, unfortunately, we weren't able to offer any more than that, but we feel pretty strongly that that's the discount that they really were looking for.
All right, let's go to Diane. Is there a way to opt out?
So yes, there is, but I would kind of challenge the question back again, and that is, give us the reason why you are opting out. So what we're doing here is, if you visit our website at cityofmalden.org/trash, you'll see some materials that are there. We just started putting up all the new materials. And one of the questions is, how do I opt out? There's a form in there that you can fill out. We ask for the name and address. And this can only be done, by the way, by the homeowner. We can't have an apartment dweller, a non-homeowner opting out. This is the decision of the homeowner. So when they do opt out, they have to put in their address and then their reason why. And I suspect that we're probably going to reach out to these people individually as they opt out, because some folks, the early on questions we got was they weren't fully understanding. They thought that these barrels would act as an increase to their, their existing payments. And they realized after, wait a minute, no way I would want to opt out because these carts are free. So this is a long way of answering and saying that each and every opt-out, you can certainly submit the form, but I think we're going to reach out and make sure folks are really understanding. It's a very narrow group of people that should opt out of this program. And actually, further than that, if you opt out now, what that means is that you are not going to get this set of carts delivered to you. And then down the road, you regret it, or you made a mistake, or you had an understanding of it. You're not going to get those free. You're going to have to purchase those. So advice would be, if you have any question, go with it. And then, from there.
Staying with Diane, Mr. Corcoran. So if someone does opt out, they're still going to have their bags covered. One thing
Correct.
About this change, everything will be covered from here on in.
Correct. And we do want to mention too that we realize that there is a challenge here in that there's a gap, right? We're here in March. We're not offering additional purchase of carts until July. Does that mean we're going to go around rejecting all trash that's sitting, like I said, naked bags on the sidewalk? Absolutely not. We're going to continue to collect those, but you will slowly but surely see that we'll start further educating residents and dwindling those acceptances down. So there will be that grace period. And and eventually, you know, we're going to ask that all the trash be in those carts. We're hoping that folks will just, you know, get going right away. And we're feeling pretty good about that, that people will come along.
All right, Ron, there's a few questions about the slideshow presentation in terms of the size. Is that something when you go to replay it, it'll be maximized?
I don't know, and my apologies on that. When I played the slideshow, it kind of blew up my screen. It was something with my computer. I couldn't figure out what it was. So what I'll offer then is instead, at the conclusion of this, I'll go ahead and bundle this up and put it on cityofmalden.org/trash for folks to review. Okay. And also know too that there will be a number of posts through social media, through the newspaper. We're going to continue this information campaign, and we're actually going to have another one of these webinars closer to the program launch. So like the first week of April, we'll do another one of these.
Did I hear correctly that each trash bin is designed to hold one trash bag, not two?
That's correct. They're the equivalent.
That's 32, right? 32 gallon?
Yeah. And actually, just so folks know, the terms 32 gallon and 35 gallon are sort of interchangeable. It's just when vendors talk about 32 and 35, they're just talking about room in the lid and so on and so forth. But the real understanding of it is, yes, it's the equivalent of one blue bag and not to exceed 35 pounds in weight. So when we go into that trash tag program, you know, you're probably going to be able to fit multiple, hefty or Glad kitchen bags in there. But if those things are loaded with whatever, that, you know, a couple of bowling balls or whatever, and it's over 35 pounds, that would disqualify it. So it's pretty much kind of the same rules that you were following with your blue bags.
Anonymous attendee, I think another reason why it's designed to hold one 32-gallon bag is we want to keep the emphasis on recycling. So if we had gone bigger, 64-gallon, 96-gallon, then you could probably presume that more trash would be disposed of. So by doing it this way, we're hoping that the recycling rates, which have gone up in Malden since the inception, will continue. Can we pick up the carts instead of getting them dropped off?
No, they will be dropped off by the vendor, and that'd be the only way. And that actually is how we'll go forward, even with additional carts too. We're not really suited at either the staging yard or the DPW yard to have residents come and get them, so we're going to have to deliver them.
Okay. Why do we have to pay for trash removal, whereas other towns don't require that? Again, it's just it's a choice. And I think for us here in Malden, you know, we could spend $1 or $2 million more as other cities and towns around us do, but we obviously have chosen not to do that. So that's the reason why we're trying out these different ways of minimizing, you know, what we pay for removing our trash and disposing of it once it is removed, as well as keeping the recycling rates up. Hello, if my trash can is full, can I leave the extra trash blue bag outside, or does it all have to be in a bin? That's from Conrad.
Yeah, so to reinforce, as of now, we're asking whoever does have an extra cart that they're using, we want to put these into carts as often as possible. But understanding there are some folks out there that have none, that just simply put their regular blue bags out on the sidewalk. Until you have an opportunity to purchase an additional cart to contain these, we have a little bit of a grace period here. So in the summertime, you're going to see us get a little bit more strict on those. And again, just so people understand, you know, it's for the greater benefit of the city overall. You know, our litter's going to fall precipitously. The problems that we had with bags ripping open and, you know, raccoons getting them to, it's just going to be a thing of the past. And what's going to happen is folks that are taking advantages, you're going to see an improved quality of life all around the city of Malden. And but again, we realize that you may not have access to that right away, or quite frankly, if you wanted to purchase maybe a lower quality barrel for a cheaper price at a box store, you know, let's say you found a a lidded container that was thin plastic and it was $20, you could certainly use that to contain your excess blue bags. But we would just ask that you put that red trash sticker on it, and it would never qualify for getting a trash tag. You'd always have to put blue bags in it.
All right, so we got a lot of questions to go here. Mr. Corcoran, what am I being charged? Right now, I buy the 50-cent bags. And the answer is you're not, if you want to continue with the 50-cent bags, correct?
That's correct. You will continue that same behavior. You will buy your 50-cent bags. You'll open up your black trash cart and pop in that blue 50-cent bag.
So Karen, that's the only difference. It would just be deposited in the cart. So there wouldn't be any new charge if you wanted to retain the 50-cent bags. Let's say hello to Lynn. It's confusing that you accept plastics 1 through 7, but so many items are not accepted. So much recyclable material is in the trash. Is there a way to fold package recyclable material so that more plastics can be recycled, or even clean bags in current blue bags? I'm gonna have to put Lynn on the committee.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of different topics being being discussed there.
Lynn, why don't you contact us offline? We'll see if we can help with that one. What's the email address, Mr. Cochran?
Yeah, you can email info@cityofmalden.org, but I would encourage you, Lynn, to visit our Waste Wizard database, which is cityofmalden.org/waste. Just really quickly, the concept of 1 through 7, that's kind of an old terminology that's really no longer used in the recycling industry. What's on the back of our info card talks more about those materials and what's acceptable. And you're going to see this happen on a statewide level. The Mass DEP is pushing cities and towns to kind of be more homogenous about what's acceptable. But yeah, you're right. It's probably a deeper conversation.
All right, let's say hello to Sarah. So if I pay $200 per year, I don't have to purchase a blue bag? Thank you. Well, you don't have to pay $200 per year, correct?
Correct. 200 is not in the mix. That was an old, actually, I don't even think that was ever a figure that we talked about. I'm not quite sure where that came from, but.
So Sarah, you can stay with the blue bags if that's working for you. If it isn't, and you wanted to go to something different, we are going to be offering an annual fee of $75, which if you decide to do that, then you can use any bag you choose so long as it fits within that cart. Do I have that right?
Correct. But we will ask you to use household trash bags. So like we're trying to get out of the habit of like maybe tying up a grocery bag, something that's meant to contain trash.
Okay. Is the trash tag per resident or per trash cart?
It's per trash cart. That's a great question. So, yep, if you live at, 300 Main Street and it's a 2-family and you're in unit 2 and you want 2 trash carts, you're going to buy 2 trash tags, each for $75. And then again, you can use household bags in each of those.
Question from Todd. The tag will be tamper-proof, but how will cart theft be handled?
So cart theft is it's no different than a bicycle being stolen from your front of your house or anything for that matter. It'll be reported it's going to be reported to the police. So when you call our hotline and say, hey, my cart's been stolen, we're going to then instruct you that you have to file a police report on that. And then at the conclusion of that police report, and we get that back, then we would replace that cart for you.
Okay. From Amy, if you put the address on the tag, that might help.
That's a good suggestion. I'll make a note of that.
Okay.
But I think, Amy, just so you know that I think one of the things is, the way we're going to procure these. So for the folks that maybe are looking to see what this tag looks like, we're in the process of working with a vendor now, City Hall Systems, which is a vendor that we use here to process other transactions around the city, like parking permits, and we're going to do more and more. we're going to be working with them to develop what is the trash tag over the next couple of months. So you won't know what that looks like until roughly June-ish. And then again, we're going to do another one of these outreach campaigns to let everybody know, okay, so what we're saying is this is phase 1 of the project, which means carts on the ground using blue bags. Phase 2 is in July, and that's trash tags and additional carts.
Can we just use our own 64-gallon barrels with the blue trash bag, or do we have to put the blue bags in the city black barrels?
So for bag number 1, we ask you to put it in that black barrel, that black city issued cart. Bags number 2 through X, please put them in those types of carts, because if they're 64-gallon or even if they're 96, the giant ones, the idea here is that JRM is approaching the curb, and what they're doing is they're looking for, what do I say before, the blue bag or trash tag. So they're gonna look for a trash tag hung on the primary cart. If they open that lid and they see the white kitchen bags, good to go. If they open that lid and see blue bags, no need for the trash tag. So with that larger scenario of that larger bin, they approach the 96-gallon giant toter. They're not going to pick that up and haul it over. They're just going to pop open the top and they're going to look inside and say, are those blue Pager throw bags? They are. Great. Pick them out, throw them in the truck. So yeah, you can continue to use those.
Let's say hello to Joanne. I like the tags. This will work well instead of bags. Price is good too. We might want to adjourn right now.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Let's see. What is the purpose of the trash tag? Do you need that if you do not use the blue trash bags and use white trash bags?
That is what it's for. It's for those folks that didn't like the inconvenience of having to shop for blue bags constantly. So you buy that trash tag, and as long as you're not into an overflow, meaning more than one full bag per week, then yeah, trash tag's the way to go, and you'll only have to do this once per year. So that's the advantage of it.
Good evening, Tony. Like many houses in Mass, there is a long, steep flight of stairs from the street to the house. Lugging carts up and down those stairs is not an easy task for someone my age. What accommodation can be made for me and others in my situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's tough because, Malden has a diverse landscape, and, unfortunately, you can't always make every accommodation. And while I completely understand where you're coming from, it's just it is something that has to be done. We certainly can't have carts being left at the sidewalk, because that would present a problem for accessibility going along the sidewalks. But I suspect that they're probably going to be relatively easy to maneuver, because again, they have a large wheelbase. They're solid. They're, if you drop them, they're not going to break, right? So I think like you said, Mayor, earlier, give us a try, and I think it'll be a little easier than you think it is.
I understand that the tags are tamper resistant. What discourages someone from dumping their trash in my bin?
Yeah, I mean, that is always a possibility. It's not something that we're not used to now. I mean, we have public receptacles. We have, open top recycle bins. These are existing challenges that really are for just about any program out there. Yeah, we feel like folks are not going to have that issue. First of all, if you do, most folks are actually going to fill those, right? So if you pop it in there, I guess it's the same as if somebody was just to randomly leave a bag on the street, so we feel pretty strongly that that's not going to happen.
From Kerry, do you have to purchase a trash tag for each additional cart you purchase?
Yeah, so you don't have to purchase a trash tag for any cart unless you want to go that route for that cart. So here's a scenario. You get your first cart, and whatever you choose, let's say you do choose a trash tag for that cart. Now, I'm going to give you my example. I'm going to purchase a second trash cart, but I don't think I'm going to purchase a tag because I don't know that I will always produce enough to warrant that. So in my scenario, I would get a trash tag for black cart number 1. And then for black cart number 2, I would just put blue bags in on demand.
Can we draw on the bins in case it got mixed with the neighbors or lost its way due to a storm?
Yes, great question. There is a space on the top of the lid that it's a small white space that you can put a Sharpie in there. But actually, when the carts arrive at your door, they're already going to have the house number and the unit number indicated. So like if you're on, Main Street and you're at 53 Main Street, it'll just say 53 because again, you're on Main Street. But then you can go in and put in, if you wanted to, the word Main. You could put the name Cochran. You could put whatever. But yeah, there is a space to write on that.
All right, let's say hello to Bernice. How can you monitor what kind of bags in bins if truck just lifts to empty? Well, this will be manual, right? This will not
Correct,
be.
yeah. Right. They will not, JRM will not be using automated tippers, which if anybody has seen those, they're the little arms that are fixed to the back of a truck. They will not be using those. They'll be manually opening the lid, looking for bags, popping them out.
All right, good evening, Karen. What are the dimensions of the opening for the trash cart? I think she's asking this question for me. Will a large pizza box fit inside?
Yeah, well, pizza boxes, you're going to want to fold those really kind of no matter what this case is. I'm guessing she means recycle because pizza boxes are recyclable. Mm-hmm. In that case, yeah, what we recommend is we would recommend that you fold it as best you can and kind of line it properly because it's a good point. I mean, if you put in a pizza box first, it might be hard for you to get the rest of your stuff in. So we're asking folks to get creative about that. But again, back to what we talked about before, continue to use box bundles in the way that you always have.
Okay. Hey, Paul, what happens when the carts are broken by the trash company? Will the city replace them?
Yes, we will. So we would just ask you to call that same hotline, report a broken cart. We'll go out and pick that up from you and replace it with a new cart.
I live in a 5-family home. Will it be the landlord's or tenant's responsibility to purchase the trash tag?
So it depends on your arrangement with your landlord. And that's the beauty of this program is that this program accommodates either built in or individual. I think what we found, and maybe, Ron might be able to comment, but when we were getting our feedback, for the most part, the landlords that chimed in were saying that they did not have a pre-arrangement with their tenants, that their tenants were sort of on their own when it comes to trash. So yeah, in that case, you would make your own decision about what to buy. But I will say the tenants that choose to purchase those additional carts know that those carts stay with the homes and if you're picking up and moving, then those are going to stay.
TJ wants to know, how are the barrels uniquely associated with the residents?
We have a database that what happens is when those carts are dropped off, they are scanned by the cart company, and they're associated with that specific address, and they're stored in a database. So that master database is something we'll continue to have, for years to come, and that will also track the additional cart purchases as well.
All right, from Bruce. For multifamily dwellings, will delivery be one trash and recycling barrel per unit?
Can you repeat that? I'm not sure I got that.
For multifamily dwellings, will delivery be one trash, one recycling barrel per unit?
Yes. So 3-family house, 3 sets of carts for a total of 6 carts.
Okay. Let's see. Thank you for all the planning that went into this major shift. My questions. The plastic blue bags are very bad for the environment. Is there any plan to get rid of them entirely? Is there a weight maximum that we can put in the trash barrels? And then finally, are we allowed to request 2 trash barrels for one household?
So you can't request, I'll start in the reverse order. You can't request anything different than what our plan is, which is the one each per unit. But again, you can purchase additional carts at that discounted rate. So in that case, you would want to, that person would want to go ahead and purchase those additional ones. The question about the environmental impact of the plastic bags, we don't have plans at this time. Happy to take that up at a future time. Probably a little out of scope for this. We just want to get this working right first.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, the third question of that?
Weight maximum.
Oh yeah, weight maximum. So our ordinance dictates that, and it's 35 pounds per cart. So, or blue bag, whichever you plan on going on. So if it's over 35 pounds, then the hauler can leave it at the curb as a non-qualifying.
All right, I'll take this next one. Do we need to use blue bags if we purchase the trash tag? No. Paulie, fantastic job on the Zoom meeting with multi-languages. I am thoroughly impressed with Danielle. Great job.
We are too.
Make him a panelist, I think. Will the carts be labeled with street address?
Yep, we answered that earlier, and yes, they will be. It'll be a street number, and then you can fill in the rest of the street yourself. But yeah, they'll be written on there.
Hi, Diane. Thank you. Good idea. I have two-family house. Will each side get a trash cart and recycle cart? Can I use my old recycle blue bin?
So you will get a set of carts for each qualifying unit, but as we said before, it's what our assessors department has you listed as.
Yep.
If you're a two-family house and we have you listed that way, yes, you will get 2 sets of carts. Yes, you can use your existing bins, but not for the purpose you probably want. You can keep them and plant tomatoes in them, or actually in my case, what I plan to do is use my blue bins as like a primary holding spot inside my house before I bring it out. That's another way. But the idea is that as soon as you put those blue open top bins out on the curb on your trash day, JRM takes them and they'll be gone for good.
Let's say hello to Martha. In a condo association, for example, 3 units, will each unit receive a cart?
Condos are a little tricky because we don't, it's if you already are in the pay-as-you-throw system, we probably have you in the database as such. But we find that a lot of condo associations have private trash removal.
So Martha, if you don't, you will.
Yeah.
And if there's any question, just contact us after. Let's say hello to Rosalie. I am one of many Malden residents who live up high on the side of a hill, 3 flights of outside steps to my home. I have no driveway, no garage. It's going to be difficult for me to bring these bins up and down all those steps. Do I have to use them?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's tough. While I completely understand that challenge, the 2 things to think about are, one, they are on the smaller end of what you would know as recycling carts. They're pretty easy to maneuver. They don't take up the same footprint as, again, these neighboring cities that you might see these giant 64 and 96 gallons. They're a smaller footprint. So we feel pretty good that you'll be able to find a spot for them.
Okay, and some of these questions coming up, Ron, are repetitive, but I think they're worth responding to because of the newness of this program. For multifamily houses, do each unit get 2 carts? Yes, right?
Correct.
What is the effective date of the new program?
So carts begin arriving on April 12th, which is a Monday. They will be delivered in phases throughout the city, and it'll take us about 4 weeks to deliver all the carts. The idea is when you receive your carts, you are live in the program. So as soon as you receive them, your following trash and recycling day, you go ahead and start using those. And like I said, leave those 18-gallon bins out there for recycling. We anticipate the whole delivery to wrap up probably at the latest first week of May, barring any unforeseen weird weather or anything that would stop us. But we're pretty confident we can get it done under 4 weeks.
What if you have more than 1 bag of trash before July when the new carts are available? Well, the new carts will be available before then.
Yeah. Yep.
Can we buy new trash carts through the City of Malden website?
Yep. So two things. One, if this happens before July, as we said before, we are going to give that grace period because we understand folks may not be able to get out to the stores and buy them right away. But as far as going forward, as soon as July hits, we'll give that opportunity, for folks to get these extras. And again, the process is that we're gonna use this first probably 6 months to a year to really work out any of these kinks that we might have, and try to phase out.
Yeah, and I think what Judy may be asking on the middle question is, carts are delivered. She has a bag that exceeds the cart. What does she do?
Well, if she has a bag that exceeds the size of the cart, then that's a different issue. That's you're overloading the bag. But I think
so before the tags come out, she would put it in another cart.
We're talking about a secondary bag, I'm assuming, because your primary bag goes in that one black trash cart. So yeah, we would ask you to put it in a covered barrel or covered cart for the overflow. You can certainly go out and purchase these now. We want to offer up that discounted carts in the future, but you're more than welcome to go ahead and to Home Depot or Lowe's and grab one of those covered.
And Judy, if that didn't make sense, just email us at info@cityofmalden.org. But a big feature of this program that our team's been working on is to try to address rodent control, which we've heard from every neighborhood across the city. We think this will do that, so long as we adhere to making sure these bags are covered. Let's see. Will 2-family houses get 2 trash and 2 recycling barrels? Yes. Let's say hello to Sarah. Is it 1 trash cart per address that will be delivered? If there are 2 apartments in my house, does one of us have to purchase an additional cart? No, right?
Correct. As long as we have it listed. But we understand there are some challenges out there, like we've seen, basement apartments or apartments that we don't know about as a city. And in those cases, if we don't have you legally as that, it's a valid unit, we're not going to issue another set of carts.
Okay. From TJ, will multiple size blue bags still be available for usage?
Yep. It has not changed. That was one of the greatest parts about this is that, for those that are small producers, you can really get right down, to those smallest bags, and really, in some cases, you could probably even spend you probably spend $50 or less a year if you're really pretty smart on it.
Cameron, if it is stolen and used by someone else, what happens?
So they would be fined if we found out who it was. Additionally, there would be, it is theft. So again, it would be turned over to the Malden police as a theft of an asset, and they would deal with it accordingly. But our ordinances accommodate for fining of that. So yeah, we really strongly discourage that.
All right, let's say hello to Brian. Can you please clarify on what bags can be used in what? Can we use any type of bag in the new black cart? And when would we use blue bags for overflow, or do we?
Okay, so black carts are your trash carts, and go back to my rhyme, blue bag or trash tag. So that black cart is going to accommodate a blue bag, which means you don't have to buy anything additional. You just keep purchasing pay-as-you-throw bags. Or as of July, you can purchase that new trash tag. And then you can put in bags such as, Hefty bags or Glad, standard household tall kitchen bags can go in there if they have a trash tag. And the best way to think about the additional things is every additional cart that's purchased has the same rules associated with it as your primary cart.
Do two-family homes get 2 barrels?
2 carts. Keep
Yep.
you. I got to get myself out of the habit of saying barrels because they're not barrels, they're carts. But yeah,
This is This is a city function with which citizens interact weekly. Why was yesterday the first time I heard of this new plan? I wish. We've been working on this for years and years and years. If you can contact us after at info@cityofmalden.org, we'll make sure that we sign you up to all the different programs that we have to keep you informed on what's happening. Since it starts in April, will stickers for personal barrels be provided like yard waste and trash?
Before I answer that question, let me just go back to the previous question. The one that I'd really encourage that resident to do would be to sign up for the trash app. So again, that's cityofmalden.org/trash and put in your address and sign up for those automated reminders. And the question with respect to the stickers, meaning things like yard waste and recycling and trash. Yeah, so that's exactly the same. People have used open-topped containers for yard waste. Yep, you can still continue to do that. Nothing has changed with that. Recycling, the only thing that's changed with the recycling, as mentioned before, the old stickers used to say commingled and mixed paper. Those terms are no longer relevant because we're a single stream community now. So now we have a new sticker that says it's blue and it says mixed recycling. And that's the one you're going to want to put on there. But as I said before, if it has a recycling looking sticker on it, JRM is going to know what it is and they're going to collect it.
Good evening, Colleen. I own a 2-family home. Will both addresses get their own carts?
Yep.
Is it 1 trash cart per unit or household?
It'd be 1 set of carts per unit. So 1 trash, 1 recycling for each unit.
All right, from Roger. How do we pay for both the trash tags and the additional barrel that I plan to purchase?
So City Hall Systems, which is our online provider of different things to purchase at City Hall, it will be an item that can be purchased. So you'll see, I wouldn't describe it like a shopping cart, like an Amazon, but it would be, you would arrive on this page and it would give you the option to purchase these things all in one swoop. That's the hope. We still have to work with the vendor on how that exactly is going to work. I don't know if Mr. Hogan might be able to comment on that further, but we haven't quite worked out all the details on that yet.
All right.
Ron, the general idea would be that it would be available online. You could make both purchases in one purchase. The tag would be mailed to you and the barrel would be delivered to you, right? So the whole idea behind this was to allow that to happen online from the comfort of your home.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Let's say hello to Gary Hackett. Gary, how are you? Is there a limit to the number of blue bags that can be put in the new black carts as long as the lid closes?
Yeah, you'd have to get pretty creative to get more than 1 in there. It would have to be understuffed. So again, these carts are designed to be about a 35-gallon capacity, which is what a blue bag holds.
Yeah.
So I doubt you'd probably be able to get a couple of the 50-cent bags in there, but certainly not more than 1 full-size blue bag.
Next question, can you put 2 medium-sized blue bags in 1 barrel?
Yeah, so I think we just addressed that. Yeah. But again,
so long as it's covered.
Yeah, the spirit behind this is, this is again one of the advantages of this program is you get some other cities and towns that have that harsh restriction, and then you get a lot of folks really trying to stuff it down. That's not the case for us. If you have more than that primary cart, you're just going to have to put it in another blue bag, and pretty much any qualifying cart, any lidded cart is fine.
All right, from Gene, when the carts are delivered, will it be cart per unit or a cart per address?
Cart per unit, you'll usually what the vendor told us that they do is they try to group them you know, approximately where they see the home. But, you know, some of the tighter streets, like in the Ward 7 area and Ward 8, you know, where it's like you share a driveway and you're not totally sure, that might get a little tricky. And that's where you would look at the label that's on the top of the cart. So 3-family home is going to have 6 carts as close to that home as possible. When you look at that top, you'll see it has the number of the home indicated on it.
Good evening, Diana. For 2 and 3 family homes, will we receive the number of barrels per unit? Yes.
Yep, per unit.
Say hello to Linda. Will someone take away the cots we are using now? Mine has holes and is pretty old. I have 3 cots.
Yep. So just on that first, after you receive your carts, after you receive your new carts, go ahead and just leave those right there on the curb, and JRM will haul those away and they'll be recycled.
Back to Paul. To be clear, first cart is free. Additional cart is $40. Each trash tag is $75 per cart, correct?
Correct. And that fee of $40, that's, don't forget, that is just the one-time fee. You're buying it from us rather than buying it from, you know, a box store. So that's it. Once you buy that once, you're good to go. The trash tag is what is recurring annually. So every December, we'll send that notice out, say, don't forget, time to re-up on your trash tag, and then you'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. Let's say hello to Amy. Could you please clarify what the $120 fee is paying for versus the $75 trash tag? Will we need both? No.
No, the reference to 120 was that was the previous plan. So on that slide, it was just to show how we've arrived at our current program. That was just simply the initial proposal. So 120 is no longer on the table. It's a $75 annual fee.
Okay, from Lynn, I'm interested in what you did have to go through to get these. Email us at info@cityofmalden.org, and we'll try to answer some of the specifics on that. Let's say hello to Joy. Do I have to obtain a tag?
I'm sorry, just a quick, I could probably answer that last question in 2 seconds. We're on state contract, so we use a vendor that was available on our state contract, and that's how we procured the carts.
I'm not sure if she's, I think she may be referring to more, but okay. Email in if that's not the case, Lynn. Do I have to obtain a tag? I don't use many blue bags and think that I don't spend $70 a year on blue bags. I haven't calculated it though. Can I still use blue bags? Yes, Joy, you can. So again,
what we think is going to wind up happening is I think this first year is going to be like an estimating year. It's going to be folks like Lynn that say, I wonder if I can do this, you know, and would it be more, can I stay under the $75 usage? And, you know, if invariably at the end you say, well, you know what, I wound up going over $75 3/4 of the way through the year, well, then the trash tag was probably the right way to go. And the beauty of this program is you're not locked into one or the other. You can then become a trash tag person at that point, you know, at the next available re-upping, which would be in December.
Cars are parked on my street all day and there's no access to the sidewalk to get the carts from the street. So where will I put the carts? I currently put recycling next to my tree at the edge of my driveway. However, the carts will not fit there. Now are they dragging, Mr. Hogan might answer this. Are they bringing the carts from the sidewalk to the truck, or are they running over to grab the bags out of the carts and throwing them into the truck?
So recycling would be wheeled over to the truck. The trash, they're going to likely pick the trash bag out of the barrel. So I think the answer to the question is you're going to get it in the, you know, the most sort of convenient place that you would have otherwise put your bags. And recognizing we're in an urban city, sometimes that means that they have to do a little bit of work to get at it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, Diane, you might be referring to an automated system. I'm not sure, but it's not automated. So there'll be some manual aspects of this new program. But the carts that the team have purchased, they're pretty flexible and light for the most part. So I think they'll be able to navigate their way through. Let's talk to Matthew. It was mentioned that these bins would be sent out to houses of 6 units or less. I live in a 5-unit multifamily condo building. Should we expect 5 pairs of bins, 1 per unit? One pair of bins for the building, and other bins would have to be purchased additionally.
I think this would be a case where we would have to see which type of unit it is. I would say it's like the question I'd have back at them is, do you currently have a private hauler? Which many buildings like that do. But if you are pay-as-you-throw customers now, and we have you down as one of our 6 or few, yes, you will get that set of carts. So that's actually one of the scenarios, one of the only scenarios for opting out. So if you own that building and you are currently using a private hauler and you don't want these, then yeah, you're going to need to let us know that, or else you will get them.
From Kelly, if you have a 2-family, do you get 2 separate barrels? Yes. From what happens if your car gets blown away? Does the tenant or homeowner become responsible for replacement?
So lost or stolen is kind of treated the same way, right? I mean, because you really don't know how it left your property. We don't think they're going to blow down far away. I mean, what we've observed on windy days is most carts kind of hang around.
Okay.
So I think the answer to that question is you would have to report it as lost or stolen. And then after the police report, yeah, you would receive a replacement.
From Judy, have you made any special considerations for handicapped disabled people?
It wasn't in the original plan, but I guess I need more details about what the restrictions are. So maybe that sounds like an offline question.
So Judy, if you can email in info@cityofmalden.org. Let's see, 2-family house, does each unit get its own? Yes. Next, this has been great. Thank you for all the info and for all the hard work on this program. And no, that's not from my father. That's from Brad.
Or my wife.
Kim Nguyen. 1 trash bag is required for only the trash black bin, or the tag is also required for the recycled blue bin. That's a good one. I'll have to look at that again. 1 trash tag is required for only the trash black bin, or the tag is also required for the recycled blue bin.
No, recycling bins, no tag required. It just has to be the right types of materials. So we just want to make sure you're continuing to put in what you normally recycle. Those same materials, those have not changed. It's just now everything goes into that one bin. There was a question that I actually got on my own, which was, we keep talking about the black carts accommodate 1 blue bag. And the person was asking, like, just make sure you tell people that it is the larger bag, that it is the $2 bag is what we're talking about when we say that fills up the black trash cart.
All right, from Jane, if you live in a multifamily home, will you get 1 bin per unit or 1 bin for the whole building? It'll be per unit. Per unit, Jane. Back to Tony, you're saying there is no accommodation for people who can't carry carts up and down stairs and or hills. What about the handicap as well as the older Maldonians? Is this an ADA complaint? Tony, try to contact us after on this, but we're just modifying what our program has been throughout the years. So contact us after and we'll look into that a little bit further. info@cityofmalden.org. From Diane, can I still put my newspapers out in the double layer handled Stop and Shop paper bags?
Yeah, so that would qualify as what I would call a box bundle, because as long as it's, that's another good example of usually those stick around. I would just be a little leery of putting them out lighter weight. I mean, if it's full, it's probably not going to go anywhere. But if it's a good weight and you've really kind of loaded it full, yeah, that's an acceptable way to put out paper recycling. But we're really just trying to encourage as many folks as possible to put those in to bins when you can.
Okay. After the initiation of the new program, does the city plan to conduct a cleanup to address the trash that has accumulated along the road's public property over time? Yes. How secure are the lids? Critters breaking in, strong winds, etc.
So they're just basically, it's gravity, right? So they're plastic and they just flop down. I I have personally seen some raccoons get really creative. They're very bright creatures and they can open lids. I've seen them do that before. So what I personally do is I have a bungee cord that fits nicely on the little loop that is at the front of the cart, which is normally used for the tipper arm. And if you loop your bungee cord around that and throw it to the back, there's no critter that's going to be able to get in there.
Will the city be taking our existing barrels, since I will now be using the ones that the city will be providing and will no longer need them anymore?
That's a good question. That's I assume what they mean is not, I mean, the recycling carts we've covered, those will be taken away. Yes, so we still have to figure out a clever way to do this, because JRM is really skittish about taking barrels and throwing them away. Because if you can imagine, you know, folks, they don't want to take away something that somebody has purchased. So it's really difficult to convey that. So we're going to work on that. Perhaps it'll be like a sticker that says, like, you know, haul away or take away. But yeah, they could become trash. It's a good question.
Can I still use the existing open bin for recycling? Or does JRM automatically haul them away?
Yeah, they'll haul them away. They're gone. We encourage you to just, you know, if you can use them in another way, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle. That's the order, right? So the recycle part of it is use it for something. Reuse it part of it is for something else. I made a couple of examples before. You can use them for a staging area, planters, containers, whatever. They're yours to keep. But if they go out in the curb, you'll never see them again.
Okay, what is the maneuverability of these carts? I think what they mean, are they lightweight?
Yeah, I mean, they're structured they're strong, but they are pretty maneuverable. They're lighter weight, addressing those previous concerns about hauling them up and down stairs on Salem Street and things like that. Yeah, you'll be able to grab them pretty easily.
Did you say that the black barrels only hold 18 gallons? No. They hold 35. If so, what do residents do with the additional trash until purchase of an additional barrel can be made in June? Let us know if that's still an issue, but it is 35.
Yeah, to answer the second part of that question, again, that's that grace period that we're allowing for what I was calling before the naked bags on the street. We're asking residents to just do their best. We understand that, you know, not everybody can afford these things, you know, as readily and easily, but that's why we're discounting them deeply at that $40 level. Or again, if you want to buy something that's even lighter duty, you know, I've seen covered barrels as cheap as $20 at Lowe's or Home Depot, and those suffice.
From when can we start using other regular trash bags besides blue bags?
July. Yep. July is the go live.
Can you absolutely only fit one 33-gallon trash bag inside the new cart? Can you put another one on top, even if the barrel lid does not close or fit on? No.
No.
And again, Roger, the idea behind this is to hopefully get at what has been a long-standing issue, which is rodent control. So the bag has got to fit in the cart. Now, if it doesn't, it will have to go in another cart. These bags have got to be covered.
Mayor, can I just jump in? I mean, of course, I think to state the obvious, I guess the barrel will give an opportunity maybe to do a little bit more cramming of a bag into the barrel, because it's got, of course, hard sides and a bottom. So, you know, to folks there are some folks, we see the blue bags that are just bursting at the seams, right? And essentially they've occupied every square inch of it. And I've seen other ones that are really kind of loosely 3/4 full, in which case people probably can with a little bit of push. And so I think the important thing to realize is there's no limit to the number of bags that can be in there, as long as the cover can cover them, right? So if folks want to, you know, work a little hard to get that second barrel in and bag in and the cover down, then that's not allowed. It's just as long as it can be covered, right?
And Ron, that cover has to be flush.
Yeah, it's got to be able to be closed. I mean,
yeah, because then the animals are getting in, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, there you have it from Mr. Hogan. Let's go. Do we get a replacement trash bin for free if it is damaged or broken? If so, how?
Yep, you will. You just call the pay-as-you-throw hotline and we will come out, grab the broken one, and we'll replace it with a new one. And that's a 10-year warranty, by the way. So the carts, we're going to get new carts from the vendor. So we'll be able to get you new carts if they break.
Back to TJ. Is using a curbside 96-gallon heavy-duty trash can acceptable as long as they contain blue bags?
Absolutely.
What measures are there to prevent theft, loss of the barrels? And are we allowed to mark the barrels? For example, spray painting on a street and house number.
We ask you not to do that because we do have that spot that's on the lid. So there's a white spot that you can write with a Sharpie on the top. As far as what measures, it would be, I guess the punitive measure, which is if you are caught stealing the barrel, it's a theft. So you have to deal with the police on that. But then further than that, we have some fines built in too as well. So, we're hoping, I think I hold out hopes that folks are going to comply on this one. It's a common question, by the way, when Mr. Hogan and I, when we were researching and talking to some neighboring cities, that's a big fear that folks have going into it because it would seem that way. But I mean, Mr. Hogan, you could probably comment on this. It doesn't really end up usually going that south, right? For theft and for, misplaced carts and whatnot. At least it's not what we heard anyway.
Yeah, but I would say that everyday residents now put out barrels that, oftentimes they've paid upwards of $100 for. And we certainly don't deal with many, if any, complaints from residents that say somebody grabbed their barrel and it's missing, right? So I think we sort of look at these as the same thing, that it's susceptible to the same number of bad people as that.
How should we dispose of our old recycling trash containers that we no longer need?
So the recycling containers, we will automatically take those away, the 18-gallon blue ones. Trash containers, the old ones, we just addressed that in a previous question. We're going to work on try to work on a more elegant solution for that, but because again, leaving them and saying they're trash might, JRM's not going to take those because they're not going to take the chance that they're hauling away a barrel that you really wanted to keep. So.
Okay, back to Matthew. If we purchased open gallon recycling bins from the city, will we get any kind of credit applied to the tags, stickers, et cetera, to defray the expense of initially purchasing those bins from the city?
To my knowledge, the price on those were $5. And I think for the most part, I don't know, Mr. Knox, you could probably comment on this, but I mean, I think we were giving most of the residents those for free, or I don't know. I mean, $5 was the most. I don't think we're in a position to refund that if that's what they mean.
$5 for an 18-gallon bin?
Yeah, that's what you're is that what you're charging right now or previous to this?
Yeah, I mean, most of them, if they bring in a broken one, we give them a new one for free. Most of them are given out for free, but if you want multiple ones, it was $5 per bin.
So Ron, I think the answer is probably that if you purchased it, then you certainly have every right to keep it and not put it out at the curb to be taken and find some other use for it to get the value out of the purchase. You can do that with the ones the city gave you too. So.
Good point.
Fair
Okay.
Yep.
Diane, if my one household item allowed to be thrown out per week will fit in the cart, should I place it in the cart or beside the cart?
No, beside the cart, bulk items, nothing's changed about the bulk item. Placing it in the cart would probably cause more confusion because unless you had a trash tag, even if you had a trash tag, you'd have to properly contain it in a bag. But, like small items, like, I don't know, like a microwave, for instance, or, small piece of furniture, just leave it on the side.
All right. Another good question from Diane. When will textile recycling resume?
Great question. So just for a bit of background on it, Simple Recycling, who was the pink bag vendor for us, Unfortunately, with the pandemic, they had to do a significant amount of reduction in the customers that they were able to collect. Malden, unfortunately, was one of those. We've been actively working to get a replacement vendor, and I'm happy to say that we're really close to signing with a new vendor. That information will be coming out soon. I didn't want to bundle it with this because it's just too much, it's information overload. But the good news is, yeah, we're right back in for textile recycling soon enough.
Once we receive the new trash cart, can we discontinue use of the blue bags? Or do we still need to use the blue bags? Please clarify.
Yep, so until the trash tags become available, which is July of 2021, this July, you will have to use your blue bag. So that's phase one of this project. And then come July, when you can buy that trash tag, you can kiss your blue bags goodbye, unless, of course, it's overage. But yeah, so for now, when we initially deliver those those black carts, you're going to need to use the blue bags until trash tags become available in July.
To Jane, can we ask for fewer barrels for a multifamily home? We already have 2 large trash and 2 large recycle bins, and 6 more barrels at our house might be overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, that would be another opt-out scenario, but I strongly discourage that because, first of all, the ones that you're getting are really good quality, and I'd say rather to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. But I mean, I understand if you're in a real tight space, maybe you only have an alleyway for storage, that would be a case of an opt-out. But again, I strongly discourage that. We're trying to encourage everybody to take them.
All right, to Martha, when is the DPW open for picking up extra stickers? I thought it was closed due to the pandemic.
Yep. So right now they're going to be mailing stickers, but there shouldn't be any need immediately for those stickers, the recycling stickers, because one will come with the cart. But if you contact the DPW and you're looking for something like a trash sticker, then yes, they would be able to mail those to you on demand.
All right, let's say hello to Gustav. Will one $75 tag cover all 32-gallon trash carts used in one single-family home? Meaning, is each $40 overflow cart covered under the same one tag?
It is not. It's one tag per cart. That's a good question.
All right, what's going on, Mike? Can blue bags be used as overflow?
That is, yeah, that's going to be one of their primary purposes now. But again, we're asking you to put them into a lidded container for the secondaries for the overflow.
Back to Sarah. If I don't want to pay for trash, will recycling still be free?
I'm not sure I understand that.
I think if they want to have the trash picked up privately, can they still utilize our recycling services, I guess?
Yeah,
Sarah,
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, I was gonna say in that scenario, you would just be somebody who puts out, a blue recycling cart every week at your home. If you're participating currently in pay as you throw, and that's what you're doing, then yeah, nothing changes about that.
If an animal damages the trash cart or recycling cart, does the city replace them for free?
Yep. So any kind of damage, we would just ask you to contact that hotline, and we would then evaluate what the next steps were. We'd pick that cart up, replace it with a new one.
Yeah, and we might want you to call us about this animal. I'm curious what animal you're referring to. If the bins are damaged during severe weather, are they replaced, or do we need to pay for another bin? I think you just answered that, right?
Yeah, pretty much all hazards, right? That's how we're looking at it.
Okay. Back to TJ. Will blue bags ever be available for mail order / delivery?
Not likely. One of the challenges there is that we've had, and we actually had this during the pandemic, is that they require postage, and it's difficult to pass that postage along. So, the pure price of that is why they're sold in retail. But the trash tag will be mailed to you. So I guess effectively you can accomplish the same goal by using a trash tag.
Okay, let's hear from Tom for the first time. Will the JRM trucks be more automated to save on wear and tear? No, they will. Automated is not part of any of this, right, Mr. Cochran?
It is not, but for the trash tags, for the trash cart's sake, those are going to have really low wear and tear because of the fact that they aren't even going to be moved from their spot. They're going to be picked by by JRM, and the bags will be brought over. As far as the recycle carts, I guess that's a fair, assessment. But, again, I think Mr. Hogan said it earlier. This is already something that they've been doing. And I can speak from experience to say that these carts are really rugged, and I don't see them breaking down just by them dumping them into the back of the recycle truck.
Okay, to Ken, only our house has only stairs to the street. Will we be able to opt out?
Yeah, again, that would not be a valid reason for opting out. It's an inconvenience. I get it. It's going to be a little tough, but I think, as you said, Mr. Mayor, earlier, ride it out, give it a shot. I think you'll like these.
Eden Gerhardt Smith, good evening. If I own a single family home that I rent, can I order barrels for that single family home? How do I get charged? Will it go to the water bill of that home, or can it come to mine, which is different?
So there's no water bill billing for any cart. The way you would purchase an additional cart would be through City Hall systems. It's going to ask you, what address you're purchasing the cart for. And in that case, you would then put in your rental property's address, but then pay with your own credit card information. Or if you were doing it in person, you could do it at the treasurer's office and do the same. But the point is that you're purchasing them on behalf of your rental property. I think that answers it.
All right, to Tony, when does single stream recycling start? With the new bins, or can we start while we're waiting for the deliveries?
Nope, we're going to ask everybody to wait for the new bins to start that official single stream, because that is when the whole program kicks off. So JRM is not prepared to make any changes to anything until the official start of the program, which again is in April 12th or whenever you receive your card.
Okay. Diane, did you get my question? I think we addressed them all, but if not, Diane, email us at info@cityofmalden.org. You are the best. May you have my full support. Thank you, Mom. So if you purchase tag for barrels, do you still have to use Malden trash bags? No.
Nope. You can use household trash bags.
From Diana, thank you very much for hosting this seminar. Really appreciate the time taken. We're going to have to give Rosetta Languages overtime, I think, here. We're almost at 2 hours. You hanging in there, Danielle?
Yeah. We do have, speaking of that, we do have that hard stop at 8 p.m. for the benefit of the language interpreters, and I think for MATV as well.
We'll see about that. He just gave me the thumbs up. So Medford is looking into curbside composting. Any thoughts offering curbside composting in Malden?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of these calls and suggestions. I think it's a great idea. I've already reached out to the person in Medford that's running that program to get more information about it. They actually have two programs. They have Rain Barrel Purchase. In that case, they're not providing them. They're just partnering with a company. Okay. And then the composting bins, I still want to get the details on that. But yeah, that's a great idea. One thing I would suggest, though, there is a company in the city of Malden. They make Malden their home. It's called Bootstrap Composting. And they are, you could do this privately. You would arrange a service with them. But as far as a city-sponsored one, it's not out of the question. But again, probably going to wait until we get this clear before we look into some of those new options.
All right, very good. Let's say hello to Deborah. If I use a 64-gallon barrel in addition to the city barrel for recycling, do I have to pay extra money per year?
If she's talking about recycling, no extra money.
From Lois, why isn't the trash barrel as big as the recycling cart? That's to promote recycling, I presume, right, Mr. Cochran?
Well, they're the same size.
Oh, they are, okay.
Yeah.
What's
But
the size again for their edification?
35, but maybe what she's talking about is not the same size as the bigger ones she's seen, but you know, that gets back to,
okay.
yeah, like what, that, you know, the way we were not able to structure it, you know, we're not able to, you know, JRM, there's certain restrictions in our contract that, you know, that say how these things can be collected, you know,
Okay.
and the maximum on that was 35 gallons.
So Amy, we just addressed that. What size of the barrels is a 64 gallon? They're 35. And again, it was an attempt to try to meet as many of the expectations as we could across the city. You know, some said they could not fit a 64 gallon. Some said they didn't need that size. So, and we also wanted to keep an eye on recycling. So by keeping the cart smaller, we're hoping that will encourage more recycling. All right, Diane's back. My old blue bin is not covered, though. Can I still use it for recycling? No.
No.
So when you get that new cart, Diane, switch over. They're not going to pick up those open air bins. So you can either keep those, Diane, and use it for something else, or you could put it out and we'll collect them. Let's talk to Jose. Can I go through my remaining blue bags I already purchased before I buy the tag for the remaining of the year?
Yeah, we would, but we would say before you're so quick to get rid of or to do like almost like a spend down on blue bags, we would suggest you hang on to them because they don't expire, but they're particularly useful for overflow. So, I mean, like somebody like me, my family, I go about 1 bag per week, and about every month I usually have to get an extra one, and it's really advantageous to have a supply of blue bags in for the overflow.
Okay. Can we continue using our current 96 gallon tote for recycling?
Yep, that's, I mean, we're trying to drill home here is that if JRM's been collecting that and they're properly stowed and everything's been fine, and I want you to continue that. If you're venturing out and you're asking, what am I, you know, if you're new to this, meaning like you want to now start additionally recycling, we're going to ask you to stay within those size limits that we're asking, which is the 35 gallon. And again, those will become available as of July.
All right. Who else thinks Gary Christensen is a silver fox? Mom, stop chatting. Please, Mom. Enough. Let's say hello to Cynthia. Can a tenant purchase a tag, or does it have to go through the owner's name?
No, it does not have to go through the owner's name. In fact, this is probably a common arrangement. Tenants and landlords, very often trash is not included in the arrangement. So that would be a common use case, I think.
All right, Mary, good question coming up. Can you mix blue bags versus not? Meaning if I pay $75 for a tag so I can use my own bags, I might have more trash several times a year. Could I put overflow in blue bags in another covered trash receptacle?
Yeah, I think that was just actually the scenario I laid out in my own household. So yeah, that's perfect timing. Absolutely. You do your primary trash tag for your primary cart, and then you keep those, you keep a rack of blue bags handy for over the holidays, or, you're going to have a big event post-COVID, of course, staying safe. And, when you do build up that additional amount of trash, you don't necessarily always want to have, what do they say? Don't build a church for Easter Sunday. Well, don't build your trash cart supply for the worst case scenario, so, but as long as they're properly stowed, they're good.
Back to Todd, is there any guarantee the $75 fee won't go up drastically year over year? Well, one thing I've learned, Todd, after serving for several years, there are no guarantees. But if I know the team like I think I know them, they are going to work very hard to keep that right where it is. But that's where we are today. So let's go back to Matthew. If a household has trash bins that are older, don't have lids, are cracked, etc., will we be able to have those picked up for recycling in addition to recycling the small open recycling containers?
Yeah, I mean, I think this solidifies it for me. I've heard this question enough that I think it's something I need to now pursue.
Yeah.
So that's definitely on the agenda for, and it's great. This is why we have these things, because these things, of course, we didn't think of, and that's one of them.
All right, let's say hello to my classmate from the class of, well, I'm not going to say the year anymore because I'm getting up there. What's up, Joe? Are the barrels lockable so that people can choose not to buy a tag, can't dump their trash in a paying person's barrel?
No, I mean, there's no holes or anything, but I mean, I don't know if you thought that one all the way through, because how would JRM be able to get to them, right? If there were, I mean, I suppose what you're talking about is if they're sitting at the side of your house, maybe. But again, well, like we talked about before, these are kind of edge cases, I think. I think these are situations you probably are overthinking it, but we can't have them be too tightened down, because JRM has to be able to come and open that lid up and grab the bags.
Okay. To Jennifer, what's the point of the carts if they only hold one bag of trash? Well, one is to hopefully address rodent control, which has been an issue for a long, long time. And the other, Jennifer, we're hoping is it will continue to encourage recycling. So if we went 64, 96, or whatever it is beyond what we have, our thoughts were people would just dispose more. So we're thinking by keeping it right where it is now, that people will continue to recycle like they have been.
The feedback, the feedback we've gotten from the DEP too, which is, who controls a lot of, because we actually, one of the benefits is we applied for some grant money to help defer the cost of this whole program. And the feedback we got from them was this was a unique, great program. And they're predicting that a lot more cities and towns are going to start reducing because of what you said. You can't kind of go backwards from the larger, you can always incrementally go up.
Will we be able to receive the PowerPoint somewhere on the City of Malden site after the meeting?
Yep, I will bundle this up as a PDF and post it to cityofmalden.org/trash.
Okay. All right, let's see here. If I usually throw out 3 bags a week, does that mean I need 3 carts now?
If you wanted to use all of those style carts, yes. But again, as we've said, you can use a larger cart like a 64 or a 96 that you just put in blue bags. It really depends on what you want going forward. If you don't have a lot of storage space, then you might want to consider the larger one. But if you feel like you're throwing away 3 every single time, you actually would really benefit from getting 3 Malden trash carts, because you're going to wind up saving a considerable amount of money. From what you're paying now, if you're 3 bags a week and you buy 3 trash carts, then you're saving about $75 per year on your trash. So I think it would be recommended.
I'm an owner of a 2-family home. If we find this program works well, how do we dispose of our old barrels? Hang in there. Mr. Cochran's made note of that. We're going to look into that one. Let's see, another one about the PowerPoint, Ron, so we'll have to get that up. Again, asking in case this was missed, are these trash barrels only designed to hold 1 bag, not 2? That seems pretty small.
Yeah, just again, to reinforce, it's not any different than what a blue pay-as-you-throw bag is. I mean, if the argument is you overstuff it, then that's really not what we were asking you to do in the first place, But if properly loaded blue bag is the equivalent of 1 black cart.
All right, back to Diane. In the winter, when we get a lot of snow and I can't drag the cart into my own backyard, can I leave it in my walkway? I think so. We don't have any conditions around that, right, Ron?
As long as it's not on a public way and it's, impeding on any accessibility issues, then you can put them wherever you want on your own property.
Okay. Let's see. I did not get information about this meeting. Email us at info@cityofmalden.org. We'll get you signed up for our app. that will let you know about these meetings. Back to Roger, important, once the tags are put in play, if we do not have an updated tag for the new year, will our barrels not be emptied? Are the trash vendors having to stop and read each tag, slowing them down?
Well, it'll be a visual, so the tag will be, color coded most likely for the year. So it's a quick, that shouldn't slow them down at all. But to answer the question, absolutely, and this is something it's just like your resident parking sticker, right? There's folks that are in that situation and they forget to renew for the year. And then, there's an inconvenience, you risk getting a ticket at the time. And in this case, though, that risk is not so much in the sense that if you forgot to get your trash tag, you just simply buy a few blue bags to get you through until you get a chance to purchase that trash tag. And the great thing is, let's say if you go 2 months into the year and it's February or it's March and you still haven't bought your trash tag, we're going to prorate that so that you're not paying the whole $75. You're basically rated appropriately for when you purchased it.
Okay, how much do the carts weigh?
I don't know the answer to that, but relatively lightweight. I guess that's. I don't think that's a great answer, but I can find that out if you want to send an email to info@cityofmall.org. And actually, I'll put that in the FAQs.
Okay. Let me see if I can end on a good note. Hold on. I have to scroll down here. I think my mom logged off. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Thank you for a well thought out program. All right, everybody. So we're going to end there. It's just about 8 o'clock. And once again, we want to thank our team. We want to thank Rosetta Languages. We want to thank the City Council. And most importantly, we want to thank you. These are a lot of questions, a lot of good questions. And let's continue to work together to get to where we all want to go to. So thank you. We'll be in touch. And good evening, Malden.